Hi, Matt. Welcome. Kara's Glass. Welcome to Glass Entrances and Partitions webinar. Welcome, welcome. I see Rick. Esmeralda, welcome. We will get started momentarily. We're just giving an opportunity to the rest of the participants who registered to log in to join us. So we will get started shortly. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. Welcome, welcome to Glass Entrances and Partitions, our newly web version to storefronts for the most part. Welcome, welcome. Just some quick pointers. I have opened up the Q&A for any questions, and I've also opened up the chat. So please feel free to share any questions either on the Q&A or on the chat. Again, welcome. We will get started. So welcome to Glass Entrances and Partitions, also known as CRL Online Programs. So Glass Entrances and Partitions is more specific to all of the CRL heavy glass door entrances and office partitions. Formerly called storefronts, we do still currently have storefronts online, but it's more of a Citrix version. This is more of a web version. So we launched this version in late September to kind of align also with Glass Build. Also, because we were highlighting at Glass Build this new functionality as well as Fallbrook. The reason why we went that route is because we also included Fallbrook to the new web version. Give me 1 second. I see that it says that the chat was disabled. I do have it. Sorry, I forgot to click one button. You are able to chat now. I've enabled it 100%. So thank you so much for joining us. So like I said, at Glass Entrances is more specifically to our heavy glass doors and office partitions. That's the web version, and true to what we are trying to accomplish and making sure that you have a new experience. Or better experience, better said, we've developed CRL Online Programs, which this will be where we are going to have all of our web-based programs. Right now, we have our showers online and Glass Entrances to Partitions. We are trying to have all of the programs in one interface. Why? Because we've heard you when you've mentioned that you don't want to have multiple logins. You don't want to log in from one place to log into the other tool, because it does become very tedious. And I know that for the most part, a lot of you happen to be on the online programs a pretty large amount of time of your day. So with that, that's kind of like what the program does. It continues to give you those same features that you will see in Citrix enhanced. We've changed the look, we've changed the layout, we've changed the experience for you. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead. I think I've already kind of spoke about the tool. If you can't tell, I manage the tools. My name is Yancy Salinas, and I've worked for CRL for about 5 years. No, it's going to be 6 years in December. And I've been managing the online programs for the past 2 years. So um, it's a great passion of mine to make sure that I provide you with the tool that you need, not only for design purposes, but also quoting purposes, and of course, giving you another platform of where you can place your orders. I know with the standard doors, you can go ahead and place the orders directly from the tool. However, for those more complex builds or custom systems that are within the program, sometimes we do need a little bit of assistance from our sales team for that additional pricing. Know that that's still available. But with that being said, we're still trying to improve on that experience for you. So Julio, I see you've joined us. So Julio is our expert at hand. He's going to take us to a drive of CRL online programs, more specifically Glass Entrances. Julio, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks, Yancy. Sorry about all the technical difficulties I was having. I hope you can hear me pretty well.
We can hear you just fine. Thank you so much, Julio.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so let me just introduce a little bit of myself. Like I said, I'm having just a little bit of technical difficulties here on my end, which is why my camera's on. It was looking a little funky on my end still. But let me just introduce myself. My name is Julio Soto. I'm the technical manager for architectural hardware here at CR Lawrence. And I kind of want to walk us through what a journey looks like inside Storefront Line. I think Yancy, you might have already mentioned, how great of a tool it is now, and how much simpler we've made, you know, the quote to order process for our customers, right? I know in the past that
Yeah,
was something a little bit of a struggle, but now we wanted to make sure we simplified it the whole way through, where it makes it almost seamless and um, in a way just so easy to use where anybody can do it in reality.
yeah. For sure. You're going to see how seamless it is. And even someone who is not an experienced glazer or contractor will be able to create any design from the program. So just before we get started, and Julio takes us through that journey, just some ground rules, like I mentioned, please feel free to either use the Q&A or the chat to ask any questions. Julio will be checking in with me in the process as he's going along to see if we have any questions that he can answer live right there and then, or if we can, we would need a little bit more investigating, then I will go ahead and answer those questions via email at the end. Or if we can't get to all the questions, again, I'll be following up with the chat and getting all those questions and responding to them directly to you. So again, thank you for joining us. And with that, I'll leave it all to you, Julio. Take it away.
Awesome. Let me just go ahead and share my screen so we can go ahead and see what we're looking at. Just one moment. Sorry about that. Just want to make sure I'm sharing my screen correctly. I got a new laptop recently, so I want to make sure I'm sharing my
So meanwhile, Julio brings up his screen. Just a little bit of a little tidbit of information on Julio. The reason why you can't see him is one, because lately we've had him traveling to a lot of our different locations, assisting in putting up a lot of our hardware and office partitions, entrances to a lot of our new locations, and also new offices that we are going to or already started moving into. So he is our expert at hand. So unfortunately, we have him everywhere and anywhere right now.
Yeah, no kidding, Yancy. Okay, give me 1 second, Yancy. It's making me go and come back in by share. Just give me one quick second so I can go and come back in really quickly.
Yeah, of course. In the meanwhile, I'll go ahead and share my screen and go through the dashboard first, Julio,
Beautiful.
and how to access. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Wait a minute. That's not the screen I want. Give me 1 second. Okay. You guys can see a blue screen, correct? With CRL Online Programs. So this is the login page for CRL Online Programs, like I mentioned to you before. We now have two programs under one interface. Everything is web-based. How do you get here? So you can get to the login page from our landing page, whether it's our landing page for Showers Online or our landing page for Glass Entrances and Partitions. You will find a CTA saying log into web, and it'll take you to this URL. Otherwise, you can see the URL here on top. You can go ahead and save it and bookmark it within your browser, so you're able to access it at any time. So I have my password already saved. I don't recommend it, but so many systems sometimes gets kind of hectic. So I've have mine saved. Let me go ahead and log in. I guess not really saved, right? Because I had to type it in. Okay. So once you log in, it'll take you to a dashboard. So what the dashboard really displays is the activity within that site. Site is your account. You are able to see the users that are logged in within the last 24 hours. As you can see, this is a test account for our internal users. So I can see who's logged in for the most part today within the last 24 hours. Okay. And then here we can also, those are all our active users. You can choose from a variety of 12, 6, 3, or even within the last month, the information you want to see. You can even sort it by supplier. For example, if you have multiple places where you go ahead and send the glass to be fabricated, you can sort it by that. You can
Yeah,
go
so we're
ahead
still
and
seeing we're
also
still seeing the main screen. We're not seeing the
what main screen?
storefronts on the dashboard.
Yeah,
We're
that's the
still seeing
I'm showing. What do you see?
the login page, the where it says your username and password to log in.
What? I'm already there. Hold on. Let me see. 1 second. I apologize for that. Du- 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 du. Oh, can you see my dashboard now?
There you go.
Got it. Sorry. I apologize for that. Um, okay, so this is the dashboard again with the active users, and then we also have the project count. So this one takes you month to month. As you can see, I have it sorted for the last 12 months on how many projects were created, how many quotes were created, how many orders were created or converted from quote to order. If you scroll a little bit down, you can also see the quote conversion from projects created to quote conversion, and then also projects created to orders converted. The reports, you also have a reports count. That what we call the reports are the the quote PDFs, the hardware list, the installation sheets, and also the glass orders. That's what we call reports, but technically they're the PDFs that you can access from each of the programs. So you're able to see there. And why is it that we have this information is because we're also looking at the usage from our customers. What are our customers really interested in doing? What are they using the tool for? Is it more for design purposes? Is it more for placing the orders? Because that'll tell us where we need to focus our improvements on. Okay, so that's what you're able to see. You also have here where it says item templates. If you have, for example, a specific, whether it's a shower or a specific entrance that generically you use very often across different locations, you can templatize that design and save it for a future time so you don't have to create it each and every time. Site details are the the information specifically to your location. So my look is completely different because I can see all of the accounts who have CRL online programs. But on as you see on the right hand side, you're able to see where it says site details, and those site details are going to be your location, your physical location information, contact information as far as phone number, email, and so forth. Here you can also upload a logo, and this is of course just because we want to make sure that you have it as personalized as possible when you're generating your quotes from the tool to your customers. This is where you will upload the logo, and it's pretty easy. Just upload, and it's going to take you to your files so that you can go ahead and choose any of the logos that you have already saved. Okay, we go back to the dashboard. You can also and view projects. That takes you to your project list. And the project list here, as you can see, because we have both programs in one place, we have different tabs here where it has all, where you're going to see all of the projects, whether it's showers or glass entrances. You can also click on the tab that says showers, and it's going to show you just the shower projects, and also I'm sorry, entrances and partitions, which is also gonna show you just glass entrances. New to the program is here, where before we would never had the program be able to search by the CRL quote or CRL sales order. It would only look for by the project ID or what or the project name you named it. But now, because typically will automatically provide you with a quote or a sales order, you're able to go ahead and search it by the CRL quote number or sales order number. Another thing that I want to go ahead and highlight, and I won't be getting into a lot of detail just because, spoiler, I will be launching a new series of webinars. This webinars is just so you can how to configure a project for the most part, and what are the different features within the different screens that Julio is going to take us through. The other series is going to be getting started with CRL Online Program. It does seem like we have a lot of new users to the online programs and need a little bit more assistance on how to set up the glass types, how to set up the glass pricing, the process pricing, how to set up a glass supplier, or even going through the settings and what's available. What is it that you can do? What is it that you can change? So that series of webinars is coming. You're the first to hear about it, but we will be launching that within the next month or so. So just wait for an invite on that should you want a little more information when it comes to settings. And then and that the menus for all of that you'll be able to find here. Obviously, some of you may not have a long list like I do because I am a system admin. For the most part, most of the sites will have a site admin, which the site admin has the appropriate permissions to make those changes within the site for like the hardware, the finishes, and so forth. Okay, and that's on the top left hand corner. That's where you're going to be able to find the settings or the menu. And here's where you have everything available to you. On the far right hand corner, you're going to see add new. Very self-explanatory. This is where you start a new program, a new project. So if you click on start new, if you have more than one program that you're subscribing to, it will allow you to choose from the drop down. If you only have one program that you're subscribing to, you will only have that choice only. So with that, I think I covered a pretty good chunk. Do you want to take it away, Julio?
Yes, Yancy, absolutely. Okay, so let's get this
Okay,
kick started then. Let
perfect.
me
Go ahead.
let
Go
me
ahead
go
and
ahead and
share.
share my screen back again.
Hmm.
Okay, let me just share it back again. Okay, cool. And you kind of took them through, what the dashboard looks like and the features and all the cool little things that they can do on Storefront Online. I want to take them through, and what I want to be sharing with all of you today is going to be, how to utilize Storefront Online, at least this new version of Storefront Online for those who are new to it and for those who have never used it before also. So let's just go ahead and get started with the basics, right? Yancy kind of talked about and highlighted the different features of what's on your dashboard, at least including your project name, your customer name, your description, quantities. They entered the status of your project, the total price, quote number or sales order number if it's already a sales order number. But I want to go ahead and show you what that looks like from the very beginning standpoint when you're just getting started with this, right? So for the sake of our conversation, we're going to be going over entrances and partitions. And I want to call this project name, since we're all in this together, we're going to call this webinar 07-22-25. And you can definitely put numbers and dashes and semicolons and whatever you might want to put on there for your job. So feel free to go ahead and use any of those that you might need for your job. Your customer name, if you're somebody who's if you're getting this bid going out for bid, your customer is maybe the GC. So we'll call this Joe's GC, right? And your location name, you can definitely put any location wherever you might be in the country. Right now, I'm actually helping a customer out. Yancy had mentioned that I'm actually out at a job site today. We're working on some of our glass entrances here today. So today I'm out of Dallas, so I'll just go ahead and put Dallas, Texas. Project code, if there's a specific project code. For us, there wouldn't really be one, so we'll go ahead and skip this one for now. We're only doing one elevation, so I'll leave it as quantity 1. The status of the project, we are currently waiting. This can always change as given, right? Whether that's complete, you already ordered, you lost a job, or it's already complete. So for us, we'll put status waiting. For the site address, we'll put 1234 Brisket Road. I want to make this as lighthearted as possible, right? I'm in Texas, so I'm just making a quick little joke there. Just
Sounds
make a
like
quick
you're
little.
hungry. Sounds like you're hungry, Julio.
I haven't had breakfast yet, Yancy. I am
I'm
starving.
sorry.
The side contact, I put our customer's name was Joe's GC, so we'll put Joe. Phone number, whatever the phone number might be. So we'll go 9876543. Okay. And it looks like I have everything pretty much ready to go on my end. Just a couple of side notes also. You have all this information also readily available to you. So you can definitely go ahead and go through all this as you go along with your quote. And that includes your quote date quoted, who is it quoted by, if there's a specific person on your team that's quoting it, if there's a quote address, phone number, things of that nature. You can always go and put all of these additional notes on here, including order notes, your delivery method, how you want to have this ordered. But that's usually done once you're ready to place the order, right? Uh, Private
Something,
notes, any note.
Julio, if I can step in here, something to remember is that these specific tabs here are more for you and your customer. So this would be more of like your quote, not necessarily the quote between CRL and you. This is more between you and your client, how you're going to deliver the hardware and the glass to your client. It's more where this is pertaining, these tabs. Later on in the journey, you're going to be able to see where it differentiates between the customer, you and your customer, and CRL and you. Because with how we're going to deliver the merchandise to you, it's more out after you've quoted. When you're quoting it, that's when you choose your method of delivery there. So this is between you and your customers for these specific tabs. Something new on this tab is the description. So a lot of our shower customers, they like to add a little additional notes on their quotes. So on the description, anything that you click on the quote description will be added on your quote. So this would go after where it says that this is CRL hardware. That's where this description will go. So, maybe here in Glass Entrance you'll be able to use it, but I know our showers customers use it a lot, and we wanted to offer it also here should you want to add any additional notes.
I like it. Yep.
Thank you, Julio.
No, no, thank you, Yancy. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so let's just,
Hmm.
start walking right through the journey. The bread and butter of a lot of what we do, at least for glass entrances and partition, is going to be all glass entrances. Just a couple of things. We do have different options available for entrances and partitions online, and that's going to include all glass, of course, like I mentioned. And that's your typical door rails, patch fittings, things of that nature. But we also have our 487 office partition system, which is like which was like a Western integrated for those who are familiar with it. And also our brand new Fallbrook partitions, which is brand new to our storefronts online. And that's our minimalistic interior office partition. It's sleek European design, and it's relatively new to our repertoire. But it's definitely new to storefronts online, and it's a huge added benefit to us and to our customers as well. So if you are ever interested in having a webinar or having a quick tutorial on how to utilize storefront online with Fallbrook, I'll not only be happy to walk you through how to utilize storefront online for Fallbrook, but I'll also give you a quick little recap on what Fallbrook is, what it looks like, how it's built together. I put this together myself a few times already, and in my opinion, it's one of my favorite systems just because of the ease of installation. So like I said, please reach out to Yancy. She'll be more than happy to set up anything with any of you. And I'll be happy to walk any of you through that. So let's just go ahead and let's just get this journey kickstarted. So for us, like I said, we're going to be doing our bread and butter, which is going to be our all glass systems. We'll do a flat layout, but you're more than welcome to also do a pop in, pop out sort of style layout if that's what you need, with different angles, of course. So for us, we'll do a flat layout. You can change your handing of your doors, so you can have no doors if that's what you're going for. If it's just like fixed side light panels, or if it's a left-handed door, right-handed door, or a pair of double doors. And when you see left-handed doors, this is from the outside looking in. So just keep that in mind when you're building this out. All this is going to be from the exterior side looking in. And I know even if you're looking at this and you might be in an office space and say, well, we're always interior, so it's always inside. Well, yes, that is true. You are inside, but the outside is going to be that keyed side looking into an office space, for example. So let's go ahead and just leave it as such as a left-handed door. You can add a transom if necessary, if you have a little bit of a bigger opening. But for us, we'll keep it pretty straightforward. Just because we want to make sure we highlight the ones that are most common for what we see, at least on a day-to-day basis. So we'll go ahead and select a door in the middle with two side light panels. And you can always go back and change. So I'll just kind of highlight this. It's going to be in layout. If you need to add whatever it is to your elevation, if you need to add one panel, you can definitely add that, or you can remove it. Do you wish to remove this panel? Yes. So like I said, you can always go back and change out the layout if you need to add a panel. Um, and I'll also show you what that looks like if you need to add a return. So if you want to change your mind and add a 90-degree return, here's where you would do so. So you can always click in and out. And since we did it to the right side, let's also do it to the left side. We don't want it to look funny. So now we have the two 90-degree returns, fixed panels next to the door. I think this is pretty much the layout we're going to be going for. Like I said, you can always go back and change and add anything else you might need, including panels, transom, bins, if those are necessary as well. Well, and it gives you a pretty cool little 3D model of what that what that looks like. So you don't have to imagine this in your head either. And it tries to make it as to size as possible. So you'll see what this looks like once we start changing things out. Let's go ahead and add a width to our entire first side. So we'll add a 108 by 8-foot tall door. We'll make sure to specify what we have on our return side. We'll have a 48 incher. And we have to make sure we get it right for the other side too. Now you see all of your elevation just changed all over the place too. So now you have your fixed panels all conjoined, and these are all already pretty much specified on what sizes you'll need. Now the way I like to go about this is like a book, right? Left to right, top to bottom. Makes it as easy as possible for me, just because I get confused all the time. I'm usually all over the place, so I try to keep myself as centered as possible to make sure I get, every single thing I need correct as I'm going through my projects. So like I said, we're going to be doing an all glass system, but if you ever need a change, you can always go ahead and do that on your brand side right here. And what all glass is going to include is going to be your door rails and your patch fittings. So DR door rail system includes all of that, but you also have a couple other things in there, including your 1301 doors, if you're familiar with those, and your 290, 295 sliders and your Laguna series sliders are going to be included in all glass. Finishes, this is where you can change your specific finish. If you have a special finish like satin brass, if you have a powder coated finish, here's where you would go ahead and change that. I'm going to go ahead and leave it as the most popular finish in our system. I know brushed stainless is still to this day by far and large our best seller. So we'll leave it as brushed stainless for now, since I want to make this as lifelike as possible. I don't want to do something that, I know nobody's going to use. I want to make this as realistic as possible as we're going about this. Like I said, we're going to be doing this for an interior office space. So let's go ahead and make sure to just specify the usage. I know it really doesn't always necessarily make a huge impact, but at least for our internal use, we want to make sure we're kind of writing down exactly what we're using it. Next thing I want to point out is extrusion preference. How do you want to receive your material? Right? Some people like receiving their material pretty much ready to go and just take it up and install it. Others, on the other hand, want to receive everything in stock lanes. One, you save on time, you might pay a little bit less. So it saves you a little bit on that front. You'll end up just picking stock lanes and you'll cut everything else yourself. And when I say cut everything else yourself, this is going to include your U channels, if you have any, or your sidelight rails, if you're using sidelight rails, for example. So for me, I am a I like to save money kind of guy. I like to save on time, especially time. Time is the biggest thing for me, especially when I'm going about my projects. I know a lot of these are in a time crunch. So I'm going to go ahead and do stock points for myself. Default glass. Here's where you can change your glass makeup size. And it goes to your first one is going to be for your sidelight panels, and your second one is going to be for your door. So this is where you would go ahead and change that if you want to go ahead and change it to like 3/8 inch glass, for example. And this is mainly for the purpose of sending this over to your fabricator, for example. So this is where you would go ahead and change that, and this is where you it would highlight that so you can send that over to your fabricator, and they know exactly what kind of glass they should be ordering. I didn't point this out just yet, but I think it is important. This is you can add your own glass supplier, and that would also include your glass costs. So we don't have any glass cost built in. You would have to do that on your front, just because I know different glass suppliers give different glass costs. So we are not going to have any access to that whatsoever. That'd be more on your guys' end, where you would have all your glass costs sort of built in already. You would just have to manually put those in, and it would automatically punch those numbers out for you, so you can have it pretty much ready to go at all times.
And
Yancy, is
mind
there?
you, that's a one-time process. Yeah, that's a one-time process that you do when you're adding your suppliers. You would need to not only add the supplier information, but you would add the process pricing and the glass pricing, so the square footage, so that you when you're doing the quote for your customer, not only are you providing the estimate for the hardware, but also the estimate for the glass. And mind you, the tools also have a capability to do a markup for both glass and hardware. So that's the reason. And I know this question could come up. Can we upload a Excel spreadsheet with all the costs so that the system could can the program do that for me? Unfortunately not. That's not currently available. It's not supported by the tool yet. That is something that we are working. So it is more of a manual process, one by one, that you have to add. But again, this is only a one-time thing that you would need to do.
Beautiful. Is there any other questions, Yancy, that have come up, or not yet?
No, not yet. No questions so far. I'm trying to beat the
Okay,
gun just in case, question comes up. Yeah. All right.
perfect. Okay, so that means
Mhm.
we're doing good so far. No, sometimes no news is better than no news is good news.
Yeah, no response is a loud response for sure.
So let's just kind of go through exactly what we're talking about, right? We've got our design pretty much honed down, and we have an idea of what we're looking at right now. So we highlighted the fact that all glass entrances and DR door rail systems specifically can highlight patch fittings and door rails. So this is where you would sort of see that. So you would see your P-style doors. For those that are familiar with that, that's just top and bottom door rails, or this is where you would take your A-style doors or your AF-style doors, which is just patch fittings top and bottom and a patch solid, or a BP-style door, which is going to be the reverse for that, which is a patch fitting and a door rail, or an inverse BP. So for us, I'm going to do something that I typically do, and I see, most of course, is going to be just top and bottom door rails for this. I'm going to go ahead and do this and call this doorway name Mark. Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, this is going to be for an interior office space. So I want to make sure to utilize and make this swinging in only. I don't want anybody getting knocked up the side of the head when they're walking through the hallway and they get a face full of glass, right? We want to make sure we take into account all these things when we're building out our systems. Concealed closure. This is where you can change what kind of closure to utilize if you need a closure. So for our purpose, we'll be using an overhead concealed closure. We'll put a header at the head, and we'll utilize an overhead concealed closure. I don't like drilling into the floor too much. It's a little bit of a pain in the behind for those who have done it and know this process too. It's not the most fun, but an overhead concealed closure typically is a little bit easier, and it gets the job done perfectly fine too. If your your pivot point needs to change, here's where you would do so. We have pre-built in pivot points. So we have pivot points center hung at 2¼ inches away from the door. But we also have it where we can make them for 3/4 inch offset and 1.5 inch offset doors for those that need it. I know it's not very common, but the option is there in case, It does come. And like I said, for center hung doors, the typical offset pivot point is going to be 2 3/4 inches. But if you need to change that, here's where you can go ahead and do so. And this is where you would just erase those and just change whatever it is to whatever your pivot point is, whether that's like 2 9/16, 3 inches away from the door, or whatever the case might be. I know it's not too often, but the question does come up, so we do have to offer it. Locks. How are we going to lock this, right? I typically don't like locking door rails up top just because I don't want to grab a ladder at the end of the day once I want to lock this up. So I'm going to lock this at my door base, just because it makes it so much easier for me just to be able to bend down and lock this at the end of my day once I'm done with work, right? So I'll go ahead and lock it bottom right above my door now. Here's where we're getting into our headers, right? I mentioned earlier that we're going to be utilizing an overhead concealed closure. This is where you would go ahead and make sure to make that adjustment. So it's a single door attachment. You're going to be utilizing a header, door stop. I kind of want to put a door stop on this just because like I said, I only want this swinging in. So I'll go ahead and put a door stop on there just for the sake of conversation. I want a 4.5 inch header, but you can always change it to different sorts of headers. If you need a narrow header, a 4.5 inch header, a 6 inch header, even. This is where you would go ahead and make that change also. And if you've noticed also, automatically, since we put brushed stainless at the very beginning, everything else is going to funnel in automatically too. You don't need to really be worrying about that, but it is there just in case you need to double check. All this automatically funnels in once you do it from the very beginning. Closer now. What kind of closer are we going to be utilizing? We have tons of different types of closers here, all the way from the Jackson style closers to the Brixton style closer. I'm sorry, the BTS 80s, the RTS 88. Here's where you would go ahead and see all of those like different types of closers or any extended spindle ones you might. But I want to go ahead and use a hold open closer. I have a little bit more wall space, so let's just go ahead and put this at 105 hold open since I want this to open up a little bit more into my make-believe office. So that's going to be above my door, right? Now, door top. This is going to be your top door ring, right? We talked about what's going to go above my head. I like looking at this top down, left to bottom. What are we looking at here exactly? Like I said, we'll be utilizing a door rail. What kind of door rail is the better question? I'll use a standard 4 inch door rail, but since I need to meet ADA, I'll do top and bottom tapered door rail so that one doesn't look funky from the other. So for me, I'm going to do it without a lock, right? I don't need a lock at the top. Like I mentioned earlier, I only need it at the bottom. So we'll go ahead and do that. Automatically, it is going to kick out your short arm, your CRL 8010 AS. For those who are familiar with that, that's just the one with the side that's end loaded that has the side block, so you can go ahead and put it and connect it to your top of your door rail onto your pivot point. So that automatically kicks out. You don't need a color for that. It's automatically going to put it to non-applicable. Oh, whoops, zoom down a little. So now we have our door top. Let's go to our door bottom. This is going to be your bottom door rail. So it's a single door with a 4 inch door rail, but like I said earlier, I need to meet ADA, so I want to make this a 4 inch tapered door rail with a I'm going to automatically populate to the CRL 8010 DP. That's the adjustable pivot. This is personally my favorite one and the one I've used the most. You can always go ahead and change to anything else you like, but it's automatically going to populate to our most popular one, which is going to be our CRL 8010 DP. Locks, the 777S, it automatically populates because of the door rail lock that you're using. Cylinder outside, thumb turn inside, all in brushed stainless as you see right there. So it looks good so far. Below the door. Are we using a threshold? Are we not using a threshold? Here's where you can make those sorts of changes also. And it calculates it for you in your clearances as well, based on whatever your opening sizes are. So if you notice right here, here's where it lifts up a little bit. You saw that door sort of lift up. I don't need a threshold, especially since I'm doing this in an interior office space. I don't want any threshold. I think that's going to look a little bit funky. but we'll leave it as such. And you're definitely going to need a dustproof lock. Remember, we're locking this down to the bottom. So you are going to need the AMR 209 and brushed nickel, since that is going to be the closest one to brushed stainless for us. Now, here's the good stuff. Handles. Um, people love asking the question, what kind of handles do you guys offer on front line? I don't really see it too many options. Okay, well, let's go through it then. You can have those standard like 12 by 12 back-to-back handles, or you can utilize what you see as like a 48-inch ladder samples. So this is where you would see, pretty common in office spaces also, but something I do want to show you, in case it does come up, right? I know you're not only going to be utilizing Storefront Online for office spaces like this, like we're doing today. You can do it for all sorts of job sites that you need, including jobs that might need like panic handles, for example, or Bloomcraft panic handles. Here's where you would go ahead and see all that information. So that'd be included like under custom ACH. Um, and funny enough, um, let me see. Funny enough, it won't let me do like a PA 100 because I have a door, a lock at the bottom. That does not meet ADA, so I would have to go ahead and start over, take all that off. But this is where you would go ahead and see all this information would be in custom ACH. All that would funnel through right here where it says like the DB, the deadbolt handles. Um, you would have to go ahead and put the PA 100. And you can just go ahead and change the exterior side to whatever you might need, like an F, which is just our full style handles. So you see right there, it goes top to bottom. Or if you need these to meet ADA, you would use our F shorten, which is just our full top and bottom ladder pulls, cut off at 10 inches from the bottom to meet the ADA. I know it looks a lot taller on this model, but trust me, it's cut off at 10 inches. Okay, so let's go back to the pull we originally had, which is going to be our 48-inch ladder style pull. Door surrounds. If there's any jams or any vertical seals here for you would go and do so. For the sake of our conversation, we're not going to put any other strips or anything else like that on ours. So let's just go ahead and leave it as such. Now that we went through the door, Yancy, is there any questions so far? Or are we still good to go?
No, I think the only request was from Esmeralda. She's asking if we can create a glass guardrail with standoffs, with top channels and base shoe. But this it wouldn't be here in entrances. It would be more in our railings that that design could be supported.
And if I'm not mistaken, Handrails Online is coming soon to the web. Is that
Correct. Correct. Handrails Online, we currently do have a Citrix version, um, but we are going to be transitioning to a web version as well. That would be coming about quarter 3 next year. Right now, because we're separating storefronts, the CRL systems, and also the U.S. Aluminum. I don't know how many U.S. Aluminum customers we have here, but excuse me. The next one to be into a web version are going to be the U.S. Aluminum systems. So that should be coming later this year around Q4 of this year. So early Q4.
very exciting also, by the way?
Expect that. I'm testing it now and comparing both, it's like, ah, you know,
Awesome.
same look
Yeah,
and feel, so you're not going to get lost when creating a new system. The same look and feel. However, we are changing some of the layouts. The layout tab is going to look a little bit different. We'll see how for glass entrances, if we keep it this way for glass entrances, I'm sorry, for US Aluminum, we are changing it a little bit, but depending on what's the feel and for our customers, we could change it. We'll see.
that's okay. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping only the best, right? So let's just go ahead and keep
Of
rolling with
course.
my favorite stuff, which is architectural hardware. um, so side light panels and transoms. Here's where you would make any changes to your side lights. Like I mentioned earlier, if you need to make any U channels or side light rails or header rails, here's where you would make any of those changes. If I want, for example, my headers and my side light rails to match up, so I can have seamless sight lines, here's what I would go ahead and do so. So now you see I have a perfect sight line between my door rails and my headers. If I need this to just be header mounted, so if I want my glass to just go all the way up in and recess into the header, you can definitely go ahead and do that. And it could even be recessed as well. So here's where you would go ahead and sort of see that as well. Uh, but if this is going to be if the headers are service mounted, by all means, you can go ahead and do that as well. And as you see right here, nothing changes. Our standard finishes are going to be the exact same in brushed stainless. Between the side lights, for our sake of conversation, you don't necessarily need any mall clamps. For those that are familiar with it, I know these are pretty common at like the ball, for lack of a better word. That's why they call mall clamps. But here's where you would go ahead and make those changes if you do need to put any fixed clamps, for example. So if you need one, if you need two, and if you need them drilled or not drilled, here's where you can go ahead and also put. But for us, I don't want any clamps. Only thing I want, I'll silicone my joints myself. I'll pretend like I'm a pro siliconer. I'm not. Siliconing is an art, as I've learned myself, and I know, and I have the utmost respect for those artists too. So it's tough. So we'll go ahead and silicone those joints below the side lights, right? I personally like seeing a little bit more glass. That's just my preference. Getting more glass looks more beautiful. You see a lot more through, um, and it just looks cleaner in my opinion. But if you need to go ahead and match this up to your side light rail, here's where you would go ahead and do so. And here's also another fun fact: you can also keep your base of your side light rail in on front line, or you can shim it out if you need to adjust the height of it so it can match the profile height of your door rail as well. So just a little tidbit that's here for you. Or if you're going to shim it, that's another thing. But the fact of the matter is, it is there for you at all times. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the side light rails. Or I'm sorry, U channels. So since I have all this almost pretty much settled out, let's kind of keep rolling and almost finish up our project. Panels. If you need to have any special panel edges, and when I say panel edges, I mean measurements. So your gaps, for example. If you have any
Mhm.
special gaps, I know typically we do our standard gaps in our takeoffs. So for example, you're looking at this panel. It's darkened as you can see. You're gonna have a standard 1/8 inch gap on the left gap. On the bottom gap, you're gonna have a 1 1/16 all the way from the bottom, including your U channel base. Right. So you have to keep that into account. This isn't 1 1/16 from the bottom of the floor to the bottom of the U channel. This is from the bottom of the floor all the way to the bottom of the glass. Right. Same thing sort of applies for the right edge and for the top edge also. Cool. And you can do that for every single one as well. So you can just double check all that, but it's pretty much standard for the most part in case you need to make any changes. All right, cool. Cutouts, if there's any cutouts that need to be made, here's where you can go and do so. But it's pretty standard for us. The only holes we're making in our glass are going to be the ones through the glass, which are for the ladder holes. So I'll just go ahead and leave it as such for myself. Now, as you can see, I don't have any pricing set in because I'm not a customer. uh, but typically you would have pretty much all your pricing pretty much set automatically, if I'm not mistaken, right, Yancy?
Yes, well, and this is specific tab is just so that you can see all the line items within this project. Once we transition over to start the quote to order process, then on that screen is where you're going to be able to see there again. You will be able to see it here, the stock on this tab, because it's tied to your CRL account and the region where typically would fulfill your orders. Because this is a test account, it's not associated with any account, so that's why it's not giving me a stock. But true is going to be when it's on the quote to order functionality, which I know who is
Well,
going to take in a little bit.
absolutely,
Well, right
yeah.
now.
So like Yancy said, this is exactly what it's supposed to be for, right? Just to double check all your materials correct. And just in case you need to add anything else, right? You're going through the whole list and you're saying like, all right, it comes with the closure clips, it has a short arm, the pivots, setting blocks, the stops, door rails, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but we mentioned we need to silicone our joints, didn't we? So we also might want to add some silicone also to that. So I'm going to go ahead and add some clear silicone, and I'm going to go ahead and 10 of these for ours. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I want 33. I want 10 of the 33 SC for me. Cool. I think I should have added one here. There it is.
You
On
already did.
catalog.
It's the last line item. You already have the 33 SE.
Yeah, but here I can
You're
see
gonna
the
add more?
picture.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's going to the website to get the picture. That's correct.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to do it. Just
Yeah,
so I
you
can
can
show that.
you can use either button, either the add catalog product or add hardware. The only difference is the add hardware is more specific to hardware that's already been added to the program, where the add catalog product actually inquires from our website for that specific product information.
Yeah, I also just like seeing the picture, Yancy. I think it makes me feel a little better, making sure I'm ordering the right stuff.
That you got, that you got the right thing, of course.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and save this all together, right, Yancy? I think we're pretty much
Yep,
ready to go now. So
yep,
we'll go ahead and
we
save
are.
this. It's already on saved. So we're gonna go ahead and now we can see it on our project list. And here's where you can do a lot of cool stuff, right? And we'll make sure to order this and quote this as well. This is where you can view your online quote, your glass order, your hardware list, installation, PDF, cutting instructions, door layout. And you can order and you can look at all of them at once if you want to. So let's just go ahead and look at the
Mhm.
first one, which is going to be quote PDF. So this is just a pretty basic
And
layout.
mind you, y- typically, yeah, on the quote PDF, you would see the pricing for both the glass and the entrances all together. It would be like a full-on quote for your customers. But right now, because we haven't quoted any of the hardware and don't have any glass pricing
Yep.
in this test account, you're not able to see it.
Yeah. And like Yancy said, it is just a test account the other day. So let's
Mhm,
make sure to also look at our glass order, right? We mentioned earlier that
mhm,
we need to order glass. So what exactly are we ordering? And if you see right here, here's where you can sort of just double check that you're receiving all the right materials. And you can see right here, you're ordering two each of half inch clear tempered glass, 47.5 inch by 93 and a quarter, or 93 and 3/4, I'm sorry. The same thing kind of goes along here, right? Two more pieces of half-inch tempered glass. And if you notice right here, here's our hole size right here, the diameter, how far it is away from the edge of the glass, and same thing here on the bottom. So it's all sort of just double check for you, and everything looks pretty good on our end. At least I think it does. So you receive your glass order, and you can even export to DXF if that's something that your temporary needs as well. Your hardware list also. So if you need a hardware list, this is where you can go ahead and save that. Let's just go ahead and see that. So you see all of your hardware lists as well. And cutting instructions also. If you do need to make any cuts, I said earlier that I personally like receiving stock lengths, so I'm gonna have to cut these myself too. 45-degree cut at 36 and 30 and 13 sixteenths. Same thing at 48 and 13 sixteenths, one each. So this is where exactly where it tells you which ones you need to cut at what length and at what angle you need to cut it at as well. So it's all perfectly
mhm.
spread out for you on exactly where you need to make those cuts, and it makes it pretty seamless, honestly. And something this is new to storefront line also, and I'm glad that Yancy brought this on board. I think this is awesome. I'm something you could share with your customers once you have all the pricing and everything set in place, of course. You can start you can download this quote, or you could receive this link and send it over to your customer, and they could even play with this animation, move this around. So it has a little bit of an interactive view where you can sort of play with that, and they
Mhm.
know exactly what they're going to be receiving as well. Awesome. So now that we kind of saw all of that, I think it's time to order, Yancy. What do you think?
Yep. Go for it. Go for
Let's
it.
do it. Let's quote all the hardware then. Do you have an account number 00180000?
It doesn't matter, 18 or 17. It's fine.
All right. And how do we want to deliver this, right, Yancy? This is our delivery method.
Mhm. Yep. This is the delivery method between CRL and you as our customer. This is where I mentioned earlier that this is where you would specify if you wanted to pick it up at our will call, if you wanted us to send it best way, common carrier, whatever is your preference.
So I'll send this quote over to Yancy's email. So I'll send it over to Yancy's email since
And I'll
she's gonna
make
be the
sure
one
I'll
buying.
cancel it. Mhm.
You can buy it for us. It's all
Yeah,
right.
go for it.
uh,
It
so
does
we'll
look
go
like a neat hoteling space that I could need, so it's all
there.
good.
There you go. So we'll go ahead and receive all this information. I think it looks pretty good as it is, right? I'm not, I can't spell. There we go. Cool. So we'll make sure to go ahead and pick this up at will call, and everything else looks pretty good if you ask me. So let's save all this. We'll send it over to Yancy. We'll get the quote, and it only takes a couple minutes only too. So we'll get the quote out. Hardware recorded successfully. Now you see everything sort of changed, right? You see all this, and you can even see stock. So what our stock looks like on these. So you'll see our stock, and you also see our price rate, your total price, the whole nine bit. So everything looks pretty good. It looks like we have stock on everything except those custom headers that we wanted to make. Everything does kick out pretty successfully in terms of stock lanes, except for those things that can't be done in stock lanes. For example, like a custom header. So he gave us our entire price list. Now, if I would want to show you guys a little bit more what that interactive quote looks like, but we are running short on time, so let's just go ahead and place this order. Everything looks pretty
And
good.
this is where they would put their PO. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is where you put your purchase order to us. So you put your purchase order number. So if your purchase order number is webinar 07-22-25, right? We mentioned that earlier. That
Mm-hmm.
was our project, so we'll keep that as our PO number as well. And I want to make sure we're picking this up at the right place, right? We make sure to put that on our quote. It's automatically going to funnel into our delivery method. Well, let's just double check that just in case. If you need to go ahead and change that, that's where you can go and do so. I like saving money, like I said, so I'm always going to pick up a will call whenever I need to. So let's go ahead and place the order. And
And
that's
I already got
relatively,
my order confirmation. My quote confirmation. I already have it.
and you should be receiving that order confirmation within the next couple minutes too.
Yep. Why is it taking too long?
It is taking a little bit more than normal. There we
There you
go.
go.
So now we ordered it. And now you can see right here, let's hide these details. You can see right here, it went to review number just because it's a little bit of a higher dollar number. Everything needs to make sure it gets processed correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but it usually gets
Yeah.
kicked out pretty quickly too.
Yeah, we on this test account we have a $5,000 threshold, but this is $7,000, so it went into review. So that's why. But obviously your
Cool.
experience would be different.
Awesome. Yancy, are there any questions? I kind of ran a
No.
little bit over.
No, no, no. I think you covered it. So far I don't have any questions. It doesn't seem. However, if you I've added my chat on the chat, I did add my email address again. Julio was kind to offer for those one-on-ones, whether Julio or myself, we can do those one-on-one trainings for Fallbrook or even for the program itself if you need a little bit more an explanation on what capabilities are still you're still unclear of what the tool can do, please feel free to reach out. I've added my email address and I also added the email for where you can request a free trial for this web version should you not be a subscriber as of yet. Please feel free to email us at that email with your CRL account number, and one of our sales solution specialists will go ahead and reach out with the credentials for that. Any additional questions or any type of feedback, insights that you would like or improvements, suggestions you may have, please feel free to reach out. We definitely are always willing to keep an open mind and see how else we can support you or how else we can improve the tools. But just as I know we're running a little bit late, but just wanted to make sure to let you guys know. I'll be sending more emails as well on the updates to the programs because we are doing a lot of work on them to try to improve them. So you should be hearing from me sometime early next month, and then early October, early September, early October on another improvement as well. So we are adding more systems, so please don't feel limited to just what we have here. Um, uh, just a lot of work is coming. A lot of improvements is coming. I promise. It's definitely very exciting time. So really happy that you were able to join us and wanted to say thank you. Thank you. I'm extremely grateful you joined us for this hour. And Julio, anything?
I'm good.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm always willing to help out if anybody ever needs any help. Um, Whatever the case might be, even if it's not just for storefronts online,
Yep.
right? I'm always available for pretty much any customer inquiries, questions, technical support.
Yep.
Like I said, my number is always open for anybody. If you, Yancy, you can feel free to leave them my email.
Of
Um,
course. Yes, of course.
I
I will.
think I know a lot of
Uh-huh.
things architectural hardware related, and if I don't, I know exactly where to find the answers at least.
Yep. Same here. We can always get you the resources, so we'll try to give you answers as much best as we can. And with that, I just added Julio's email to the chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You should be receiving an email thanking you for joining us. We will attach a copy of this recording to that email so you can have it for references should you need it. And again, thank you so much, and you have a great, great day.
Beautiful. Thanks, Yancy. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good